Grüß, willkommen in einem einen aufregendes video. Welcome to another exciting video, in this case episode 17 of my game design series of videos. In this video I'll be providing a brief overview of ancient naval rules. To a large extent this video is a placeholder and will start with a very brief overview of ancient naval rules. I have to admit gaming ancient navals back a lot in the 1980s, but I've done little since then. I'll mention these rules, or at least the rules that I've used, which I can highly recommend. In virtually all the rules that are going to be listed here, each naval figure represents one real naval vessel. There's no attempt, or very little attempt, to scale the figures, which means it'll be difficult to refight the larger ancient naval battles. I'm not going to do I'm not going to analyse the game system or the history of ancient naval rules. Instead, I'll simply list all the rules that I'm aware of. As I indicated before, this is very much a placeholder. I intend to expand this as the years progress and as I get back into ancient naval gaming. Trireme is actually 15 games in one, actually 15 scenarios. Fleet and ship-to-ship games of varying complexity levels, plus 11 scenario games ranging in time spans of 494 BC through 370 AD. You control individual ships that maneuver or to sink or capture the enemy. The fleet game is an easy version which uses a fast move system for high playability and quick action. The more advanced ship games use simultaneous movement and are much more detailed, including optional rules from everything from tides and currents to the Corvus boarding ramp. Trireme was one of the two sets of rules I used back when I was engaged in ancient naval figure gaming. I like these rules because they are simple. It uses an offset oblong playing area, which if you colour the lines correctly looks reasonably acceptable as a playing area. I use the same playing area for my 18th century naval gaming. 11 different scenarios include actions of historical battles such as Salamis or Actium, pirate raids, Veneti and Saxon ships, and even a point system for designing your own battles in either the fleet or ship games. The game is played in a chess-like fashion. Each player moves all the ships he or so desires according to his historical ability. Each ship has movement points which reflects its speed per turn. Ships are moved across the playing board of the sea, which is superimposed with a pattern of hexagonals, each hex acting as squares do in chess and checkers. You can also have offset squares. Each ship's movement points are reflected in numbers of hexes it can move in any given turn. Battle occurs when ships are moving adjacent, such combat resolved by a unique die-roll combat result system that rewards the player with a greater tactical skill. Trireme comes complete with a detailed rules folder that gets you into play quickly. You only have to read 4 pages of a 40-page manual to play the fleet game. Also included a background synopsis of all scenarios, plus a detailed designer notes section explaining the historical significance of the game. Be forewarned, you're getting no trumped-up Hollywood extravaganza. You'll get a historically accurate, yet quite playable game of ancient naval warfare in Trireme. Over 220 different ships come with the game, in addition to a plethora of game aids that make Trireme easy to learn and exciting to play. Dike Plus, published by Newbury Rules in 1979, uses a detailed game mechanics better suited to small actions. Dike Plus may be used to recreate most naval engagement within the period of about 3000 BC to 1000 AD. This covers the birth of naval warfare such as the classical Greek and Roman eras, and also overlaps into the Byzantine period to some extent. Over 25 ship types have been included to cover various developments which occurred within the period. These were my main set of ancient wargaming rules back in the 1970s and 80s, and I found them rather good. But they are more suited to smaller actions. You need a lot of room to allow for manoeuvring, otherwise the game will become rather boring, as occurred with me many times in the past. I use hexes, and while it worked well in the day, I generally don't like hexes or squares in figure gaming. On the other hand, there may not be a choice for naval figure gaming. If you can get a copy of these rules, I would recommend them if you are interested in this type of gaming. Ancient naval wargaming rules, 500 BC to 500 AD, uses a small rulebook of 36 pages. It simulates naval warfare from, as the title indicates, 500 BC to AD 500, and thus covers the period from the Greco-Roman Wars to the fall of the Roman Empire in the West. The rules focus on speed of play, with beginners to ancient naval wargaming in mind, and is suitable for wargamers from a few ships per side to larger fleet actions. 3 appendixes are also included, providing a brief guide to ancient naval fleet composition and tactics, as well as some help with the painting of ancient ship models. I never actually use these rules particularly much, but they are significantly easier and simpler to play than Dike Plus. Corvus is a set of rules for fighting sea battles in the ancient Mediterranean. It is a fast play game that avoids bookkeeping. It can be played with either 1/600th or 1/1200th scale models and includes 2 full colour sheets of ship counters. You can download a free copy as well as purchase a more professional copy. I'm uncertain what the difference are between these 2 versions, the free and non-free, but my guess is the free rules are a cut-down version of the actual paid-for rules. Fleet of Battle was developed out of Field of Battle by Brent Oman, published by Bitchute Incorporated. The rules are for ancient naval warfare from Salamis to Actium. They are best for the Punic, Successor and Roman civil wars, where the Trireme was the most common ship of the line. The rules have been well received. They won the Society of Ancients Paul Morris Memorial Prize for Most Innovative Wargame Rules last year. The rules are supposed to be free, but I'm currently unable to find them, so my guess these rules may have actually gone by the wayside, which is a real shame. War Galley is the 7th volume in the multi-award-winning Great Battles of History series, but the first to venture entirely into the waters of the Mediterranean Sea. It is also the first historical board game published in 2 decades to address galley warfare. As such, GMT's War Galley is almost a complete history for the era of war at sea. What is best about War Galley is how easy it is to play. The rules are about half the length of the usual GBOH game, and that means that most battles can be completed in several hours at the most. The battles themselves cover all aspects of galley tactics, from the line against line of big ships at Salamis, to the chase, turn and fight of Chios, to the line astern versus line abreast at side, to probably the most unusual of all ancient battles, the Roman arrowhead against the Carthaginian line Ashturn at Trireme in 249 BC. While a board game, figures could easily be used instead, and players could attempt to refight even the larger naval battles with these rules. Roman Seas is a fast-paced, dynamic multiplayer miniatures game system designed for use with 6mm figures and miniatures, and played on a hex grid game board. Roman Seas is designed to allow each player to control a squadron of 2 to 10 ships. Players will be able to recreate small naval action from the start of the First Punic War, when Rome constructed its first major fleets, 264 BC, to Actium, 31 BC, to the effective end of the Roman navy in 400 AD. Poseidon Warriors, Classical Naval Warfare, 480 to 31 BC, is a set of wargaming rules for large-scale naval action between the fleets of classical galleys from the Greeks and Persian clash at the Battle of Salamis to the Battle of Actium that decided the fate of Rome. With the data for ships throughout the period, rules for famous admirals, historical scenarios, a campaign system and a brief historical summary for those who wish to refresh their memory of the era, Poseidon Warriors offers everything players need to bring to the tabletop the battles and campaigns of the first great age of naval warfare. Clash of Galleys is a set of miniatures naval rules for the era of oared warship, covering roughly 500 BC to 400 AD. The rules are written to be played with 1/1200 scale miniatures on a 1 1/2 inch hex grid. The components that allow Clash of Gallery to be played as a board game are provided as in an appendix, but these are mainly designed for figures. The rules are intended for large battles, up to 50 or more ships on a side. Ships are organised into squadrons of 5 to 8 ships each. Each player normally plays 1 or 2 squadrons, although experienced players could play more squadrons. Several scenarios are included with the rules. I'll almost certainly come back to this video in the future and update it, adding rules and talk about game systems. But at the moment I have no real comments concerning game systems. I simply lack the experience of enough rules to provide a reasonable analysis. But I can personally recommend Dike Plus and Trireme, as I've played them in the past. They're easy to learn and they give you a reasonably interesting game. And so this concludes episode 17 of my video on game system design, which in this case provides an overview of ancient naval figure gaming rules. Alle guten Dingen kommen zu einem Ende.